Welcome to the Vault Excel. Thank you for your time. This commentary is pertaining to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. I will be bringing you information with a source pertaining to persons detained, current investigation, also update pertaining to DNA found on a glove, commentary from the sheriff. Let's get down to it. Thank you for your time. Vault Excel.
From Nancy Guthrie in Tucson, Arizona, the FBI and Yuma County Sheriff's Department briefly detained a man but did not arrest him. This is new video just into the newsroom from our Tucson affiliate showing investigators holding up a tarp. They were examining a Range Rover in a Culver's parking lot. Federal agents were also seen speaking with a man connected to that vehicle, but again, no arrests were made.
Also, overnight investigators searched a house that was a short drive from Guthrie's neighborhood there in Arizona. This comes nearly 2 weeks after she was kidnapped from her home. ABC's Aaron Katersky reports. Overnight, police moving into a residential neighborhood about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home. Investigators worked in the rain as part of a search for the kidnapper. They appeared to detain someone in a car. It has now been 2 weeks since the 84-year-old grandmother in fragile health was last seen. This morning, investigators have more substantial clues: a backpack, gloves, and DNA they are now analyzing. Some of that DNA was collected from Nancy Guthrie's property, but investigators say it belongs to someone other than her or anyone in close contact to her. Investigators are now working to identify what belongs to. Other DNA was lifted from gloves found in searches within a few miles of Nancy Guthrie's home. The New York Post capturing these images of law enforcement finding this glove along a desert road. Any DNA back on any of it?
We've gotten DNA back, and that's why I said, well, they already have the genetic markers of those that we think had access to the home, rightfully so, the family, the landscapers, the pool guy, they're useful, come back. I know, you've got DNA, so that's of use. Now we have to go through and try to eliminate people or leave people. We're so hopeful that we're getting closer. Just believe that.
Authorities are working to piece together a clearer profile of this masked man appearing to be armed, lurking on her doorstep the night she was taken. The FBI says the suspect is 5'9" to 5'10", of average build and carrying a backpack sold at Walmart. The retailer declined to comment. We found the same backpack at a Walmart here in Tucson for $11. Backpack's a Walmart backpack, right? So can you trace the sale?
We're hoping. We have teams working on all of this stuff.
Teams of investigators are out looking for more clues.
400 cops are out there looking for Nancy 24/7.
ABC7 is the source. 400 cops looking for Nancy Guthrie. Male DNA found on a glove inside the house. There has been confusion about the gloves because every time somebody releases information, it's always being retracted. First, there was a glove found outside, as you heard in this commentary. Then we heard that there was a glove found in her home. Then we heard it was not found in her house. Well, which is it? Persons detained, Range Rover, but they have not been arrested, male. Then there was a search of a house nearby, not too far from Nancy's home, about 2 miles. And I believe that was a woman and a male at that home. The person in the Range Rover is connected to the house that was searched with the male who is believed to be a mother and another male. Don't know who that male is, if it's a brother, cousin, whomever. Also, I found an interesting commentary I was listening to that the profile of the suspect is that he will be living with his mother or an aunt. Hello, Gigi. Good to see you, Tom. I think that's an interesting profile. So is the suspect living with his mother or living with an aunt's grandmother? Very interesting. All right, everybody. ABC7 is the source of that information. All commentary is on my community page if you need verification for the information that you're hearing during this live stream. Now we have breaking news pertaining to the glove. Fox News is the source.
Breaking this afternoon in the search for Nancy Guthrie, the FBI says one of the gloves recovered appears to match the gloves of the suspect in the surveillance video, and the FBI has recovered DNA from it. Let's bring in retired NYPD Lieutenant Darren Porcher. Darren, welcome.
It keeps changing.
What is your reaction addition to this breaking news on the search for Nancy Guthrie and specifically the glove with DNA in it?
Well, Mike, this is not just a lead. This has the potential to be breaking news because this is the crack in the case that we're looking for. How can we apply an identification as it relates to who we saw in the video to a DNA sample? And fortunately, this seems as if it's going to come to fruition because we're going to run this and we're going to place this information into the CODIS database to see if this individual, in fact, has DNA in the CODIS database. The CODIS database.
Sorry about that, everybody. I think I'm buffering. Sorry about that. I'll go back and play the information.
Has information for all individuals that are arrested in the 1990s up until now. And hopefully this will be what we need to garner us into the directional path of rescuing Nancy as well as bringing the perpetrators to custody as in relation to this case.
There was a big SWAT team FBI raid late Friday night that got a lot of us excited. I was watching very closely, but it did not produce any arrests. Does that disappoint you?
Well, Mike, it is disappointing, but at the same token, we have to take in consideration there was a magistrate that signed off on this warrant. In order for a magistrate to sign off on a warrant, there needs to be probable cause. And oftentimes, the magistrates or the judges will demand information to support if probable cause exists as it relates to what law enforcement brings forth. So it's an unfortunate occurrence, but this also shows that the men and women in law enforcement are vigorously working towards gaining a lead to concluding this case with an apprehension and bringing Nancy back home. So I don't see it as an error. I see it as police doing what's necessary to bring Nancy back home.
2 weeks later, do you think Nancy Guthrie is in that close radius to her home, or do you fear she's far from Tucson at this point?
Well, Mike, we're 60 miles away from the Mexican border, and that's oftentimes been a point of contention as it relates to the international line and her possibly being brought there. I'm optimistic, and I genuinely believe that this is a localized operation, and I think that she's in the local area. However, one of the things that's being done right now is, based on her pacemaker, we have now flown overhead devices to try to connect with the pacemaker to to see if we can find her in this localized area. So I'm hopeful that she's still in this area of Tucson and we can bring her back.
Let's go back to the breaking news of the moment, which is that glove that appears to match the glove that we've seen in the surveillance video of the suspect. How confident are you, or how excited are you about that development leading to our suspect?
I'm extremely excited and elated, and this shows the tenacity of law enforcement to move at breakneck speed to try to gain a clue as it relates to cracking this case. I genuinely believe that we're going to have a positive outcome as it relates to the analysis of this DNA, and this is a key component in getting us to that point. So going back to what you asked me, I'm excited about it, and I think that we're going to have a positive result in cracking this case.
Yeah, let's hope we quickly get some answers to bring Nancy home to her family. Darren Porter, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
And as we continue to follow the Guthrie investigation all day long, a reminder, anyone with new information is asked to call the FBI at 1-800-CALL-FBI or the Pima County Sheriff tip line at 1-520-351-4900.
Fox News is the source. So we have male DNA inside of her home. It is alleged it's on the glove. So is it just the glove or other places in the house? Very interesting information. DNA has not been linked to anyone known to Nancy Guthrie, such as family members and people that I'm assuming have had close contact with her. So now we have to ask, how many people have had contact with Nancy Guthrie in the past month, 2 months? Did she invite anyone in her home recently before her vanishing, kidnapping? Did she let any strangers in, such as someone wanting to help her carry her parcels in? Did she take an Uber to the grocery store, Walmart, and she needed help carrying her items in? Did someone offer to carry them in her house, garage? Assume she was alone. Did she tell somebody recently that she lives alone? Because one thing I have learned about elderly people, they do talk. They do talk. A lot of times, it's out of nervousness, being lonely. They like to share things. But in this day and time, you cannot be telling people that you are alone or someone's out of town. You need to always make it appear that somebody is in your house. So if someone offers to carry your parcels inside of your apartment, your house, you just tell them, no, thank you. I'll leave them out here. My grandson will come out and get them. And we've heard many people say that this person is bold to go to this woman's house with a weapon as if he knew that there was nobody else in there but her. Okay, stay woke now. He went there as if he knew there was no guy, no man, no men, other women, children. And this is what sickos do. They watch. The one thing I have learned over the years is that we can be the bearer of bad news by talking too much, telling people our business. Now, some people are speculating this has nothing to do with her daughter. Her daughter being wealthy, famous. Some people are speculating that she won't be returning back to NBC News. Some people are also talking about not so respectful commentary made by the hostesses on the show, different things they've been doing on the show that doesn't show respect to their fellow mate who has a missing mother. A lot of information. A lot of information. Let's go to this Range Rover business. Once again, all commentary is on my community page if you need verification. Hello, Shorty. How are you? Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Yes, the weekend is going pretty well so far. All right, everybody. This is AB7 as well, pertaining to the Range Rover pulled over during a traffic stop. Bringing you all the latest developments. Rainy day here in the high 10. Rainy day.
Guthrie in Tucson, Arizona. The FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department briefly detained a man but did not arrest him. This is new video just into the newsroom from our Tucson affiliate showing investigators holding up a tarp. They were examining a Range Rover in a Culver's parking lot. Federal agents were also seen speaking with a man connected to that vehicle, but again, no arrests were made.
Also, overnight investigators searched a house that was a short drive from Guthrie's neighborhood there in Arizona. This comes nearly 2 weeks after she was kidnapped from her home. ABC's Aaron Katersky reports. Overnight, police moving into a residential neighborhood about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home. Investigators worked in the rain as part of the search for the kidnapper. They appeared to detain someone in a car. It has now been 2 weeks since the 84-year-old grandmother in fragile health was last seen. This morning, investigators have more substantial clues: a backpack, gloves, and DNA they are now analyzing. Some of that DNA was collected from Nancy Guthrie's property, but investigators say it belongs to someone other than her or anyone in close contact to her. Investigators are now working to identify who it belongs to. Other DNA was lifted from gloves found in searches within a few miles of Nancy Guthrie's home. The New York Post capturing these images of law enforcement finding this glove along a desert road. Any DNA back on any
We haven't gotten DNA back, and that's why I say, well, they already have the genetic markers of those that we think had access to the home, rightfully so, the family, the landscapers, the pool guy, useful come back. Well, you've got DNA, so that's of use. Now we have to go through and try to eliminate people or leave people. We're so hopeful that we're getting closer. Just believe that.
Authorities are working to piece together a clearer profile of this masked man appearing to be armed, lurking on her doorstep the night she was taken. The FBI says the suspect is 5'9" to 5'10", of average build and carrying a backpack sold at Walmart. The retailer declined to comment. We found the same backpack at a Walmart here in Tucson for $11. Backpack's a Walmart backpack, right? So that's 10%. Teams of investigators are out looking for more clues. 400
think I played that for you all already. Just want to make sure I go over everything. Okay, 400 cops looking for Nancy Guthrie. DNA found on a glove inside of her house. Is there DNA on door handles, sheets, bedding? Is there also DNA such as saliva, blood, semen, urine, fecal matter inside of the house? What was the suspect doing? Why did the suspect choose Nancy Guthrie? Are other participants involved? The pacemaker. The pacemaker can still operate inside of a deceased person. What is the timeline on her battery of the pacemaker? Lots of questions. I'm going to open the panel for anyone that would like to come up and give his or her commentary pertaining to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. 1 moment, please, everybody. Thank you so much. Going to get, see if we get some takers. All right. Thank you all who are watching. Welcome all new subscribers, new viewers. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't know where this case is going. It's pretty sad, I must admit. It is very, very sad. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Okay. I'll put this information into the chat. Now you all hear that rain hitting the air conditioning unit. It can be annoying. Sorry about that. Hope you all are well out there, staying warm. Shorty says it's raining where she is. Okay. Hit the link in the chat, the https streamyard.com PNMV9AY2N5. You want to give your commentary pertaining to what you think is going on. A lot of speculation. Some people get on these podcasts and news and they'll say, oh, don't speculate, don't speculate. Well, we're human. I don't do all that wild out conspiracies pertaining to, Olympics and all that type of stuff. Usually it's always something very simple. It's not even looking like it has anything to do with their daughter. Everything's about what you can prove. And my fear is that when the suspect is apprehended, he's not going to tell you anything unless there are other people involved and he does not want to go down by himself. But if this is a one-man show, he's not going to tell you how he chose Nancy Guthrie. He's not going to tell you what he did with her inside of the home, and he's not going to tell you where she can be found. I truly doubt it. Because he knows the less he says, the better. Okay? Now, what we have to also ask, if this perpetrator has a criminal record, if he has any criminal record pertaining to burglary, assaults, which some people are suspecting that he does, we also have to ask if he has perpetrated a sexual crime against Nancy Guthrie, because a few people are talking about this, such as profiler Mr. John Kelly, thank you so much for bringing this information out, is that this could be a sexual assault. And I think a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but you have to use deduction. There's no logical reason to take the body out of the house. You would only take the body out because, one, you know the victim, you could be tied to the victim. Number two, you have exacted a crime which would leave personal DNA that you could not erase by hand, which would be semen inside of the body. So I'll take the whole body because that can be linked to me if indeed I am detained, arrested, and also if the perpetrator is a sadist and is in the system. Will we find out this person is in the coded system? He has sexually assaulted others. And what did I tell you about sadists, rapists? If they have been apprehended before, interrogated, and or has a criminal record, when they are free, they may become a murderer because they do not want someone to tell, identify them, describe them, so they will become a murderer. And we've seen this with rapists. They change the MO. Nobody will go and testify against me and describe me if they cannot talk. Was she sexually assaulted? And as Mr. Kelly said, you have men, you have fantasies. There are some who are attracted to older women. And you don't hear a lot of people saying this because I think a lot of people don't want to touch on it, but you can't leave a stone unturned to who this guy is. Also take the polls of my community page pertaining to age, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50, okay? Check all the polls. I asked you everything I can think of pertaining to who this person is, how he came to know her. If there's other people involved, check the polls of my community page. We will also go over those polls after I play the commentary pertaining to others' opinion. And I like hearing from profilers and forensic experts. ABC News is the next commentary. This young lady, I like listening to her, little redhead lady. This was uploaded 4 hours ago. The link is in the chat if you'd like to come on the panel and join me.
How law enforcement approaches these kinds of investigations. Former FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole, the Forensic Science Program Director at George Mason University, and Jim Jones, the Digital Forensics Program Director, also at George Mason. Good morning to you both. Aaron, I want to start with you. You just heard Aaron's report there. You just heard what happened on Friday with a suspicious person was pulled over. That turned out to be nothing. I know you also worked on the Elizabeth Smart kidnapping. Her father is joining us soon. But when you look at this case and where we are and the growing frustration, do you feel there were any missteps?
One of the issues in the case that is concerning, and I don't want to call it a misstep because it does happen in other cases, is the crime scene itself. The crime scene was released, and then they came in again, then it was released again. The problem with that is that you can compromise forensic evidence. Forensic evidence can be very fragile to begin with. And so when you open and then close a crime scene like that, it can be compromised.
So there could be footprints or something like that.
There could be footprints, there could be evidence that was there originally, then somebody else touched it, so now it's compromised. So that could be problematic. Once they get to court, they have to present it, but it could also delay identifying somebody.
And from what they have already recovered, they found these gloves. They may or may not be connected in any way, although you can't imagine there are too many gloves in that warm climate. So what do you think is going on now, and what will they have with that?
Well, with the gloves, they're looking for, obviously, for forensics, specifically the DNA. And that's something that is obtainable with those gloves. So they're going back and they're looking for more forensics, with DNA being the gold standard.
But would the person have to be in the database, the DNA database?
Not necessarily. CODIS is our database, and that's the one that all the states contribute to. And if you're arrested, your DNA is in the database. However, there are other methods, and that one of them can be forensic genetic genealogy. Unfortunately, that takes a while to be able to use that.
Okay, Jim, and specifically that doorbell video cam, she didn't have a description. Google managed to find that anyway. It took them a while. It's an intense process. How do they do that?
what happens with the cameras is they record the imagery no matter what. And assuming the camera is activated, which this one was, the data, the imagery goes up to the Google Cloud, whether you have a subscription or not, that's irrelevant. The subscription determines how long the data is kept. And so in this case, the data was uploaded to the cloud. She didn't have a subscription. It was put in the queue to be deleted. And it was somewhere during that deletion process that they were able to recover the data. So deleting a file doesn't actually get rid of the data, just marks it for overwriting later. They were able to go to those servers, to that storage, and find the remnant pieces of the video.
And what we saw of him pulling down the camera or trying to cover up that camera, did it make any difference if the camera was pulled down? There's nothing in the camera itself, is there?
That's accurate. Likely did not have any impact on it. The camera itself stores a very small amount of video if it's actively connected to Wi-Fi. If it loses Wi-Fi, it'll hold up to maybe an hour worth of clips, but it won't transmit them until it gets Wi-Fi back. So taking the camera off, it probably was still trying to record at that time, and then later couldn't upload, so the data never made it to Google.
And Mary Ellen, the backpack, they also have identified where this backpack was sold to her and Aaron there at Walmart $11. How big is that database to find how many people have purchased that? I assume they're going online, they're going store to store.
It's huge. And that will take a while because there's so many stores in Arizona. He didn't have to buy it in Arizona, could have bought it somewhere else. So that's going to take a while. But the beauty of the fact that he could have gotten it at Walmart is they have a tremendous amount of cameras inside their stores. So once they narrow that down to possibly one store, maybe in the area, then they can go back and they can look at the cameras and they can actually see the day that
on that day that video would be preserved. And Jim, I want to ask you about the timeline. So we see this guy go to the door. Do we have any idea whether that was right before he may have pounded on the door? We've seen that there was no, I believe, no forced entry as far as we know. So is it likely that he went back to the car, took off the mask, tried to knock on the door? I know you're speculating there, but in terms of that timeline, what we know and what we don't know.
Yeah, the best public information shows that the camera was disconnected around 1:45-ish a.m. Around 2:30, her pacemaker stopped connecting to the Apple Watch. So that's probably when she physically left the premises. So there's about a 45-minute window from the camera stops recording to she leaves the premises. We don't know if he entered immediately or if he entered 5 minutes before she left.
And Marilyn, I just want to close with you. How frustrated should people be at this point, or is this?
Unfortunately, this is normal. These cases are not easy to resolve, even with technology. And what they're depending on now, in part, large part, is for somebody to come forward and say, that's my husband, that's my brother, that's my next door neighbor.
And it doesn't appear anybody's done that yet. So
Not yet.
Thanks to both of you. I appreciate it.
ABC News is the source. Thank you for joining. Welcome to the Zone Excel. So we have this information about a backpack sold at Walmart. Did the suspect purchase it for this event? Already had it? He bought it? Could it be he got it from a thrift store? Is somebody missing a backpack? Also, the weapon he had. It has been said that it does not match the holster. It's hanging out of the holster, meaning it was too big for the holster. Where did he get the weapon and the holster? Will we find out if this gun is related to some other crimes in Arizona? Does the suspect live in Tucson or outside of Tucson? Lots of questions. Is this a one-man show or are there others involved? Where did he park the car? How did he make entry? Back door was open. Did he enter through the back door, break out the glass, the window panes? Because he did not seem very savvy approaching the cameras. What did he do with those cameras? Because it's alleged he took them off of their holder. Are we going to hear that he carried them inside in his pocket backpack, and there will be audio of a struggle, of words spoken to Nancy Guthrie? Did she awake? Was she asleep? Did he wake her? And once again, was she sexually assaulted? And that's why we have this 40-minute plus timeline. Hello, Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie, for the donation, sweetheart. Thank you. Queen just saw it yesterday. Not getting any notifications for the for that Cash App for some reason. Thank you so much. I surely appreciate it. Weigh in, everybody. Glove has DNA on it. It belongs to a male that's found in the house. Testing is waiting for the glove found out 1.5 miles from her house. People detained in a Range Rover, also the white van. That's the commentary I was trying to find to play that information about the white van. There's a lot going on. Range Rovers, vans, Jesus, what? Got too much going on. Let's see. I made sure to play all of it. Let's see, this is News Nation. About the white van.
Again, exclusive video we obtained of what this traffic stop is. We'll try to break it down in real time. What are you seeing right now?
What I did see for a moment there looked like a white van. And perhaps that's something that vehicle right there, if that's the vehicle that they have stopped. And that would tie into this because remember there was reports of a white van. Right. So you want to, maybe that's one of the leads they have to go down. What I wanted to say was you have a perfect guest on, you have a great guest on right now that compare this to another great case that was worked, which was the Lacey Peterson case. And as Mr. Garagos knows, and as John knows, that there were people that were saying, oh, what about this direction? And the detectives had to go in that direction and just say that, no, it wasn't this because we ran that lead down as well. And that's what has to be done in a case like this. You just can't take for granted that these leads aren't tied in. But even if they aren't, it was reported, there was some credibility. If you get the warrant, you have to say why something did or did not fit into the criteria.
So, Mark, here's my concern, okay? The lawyer in me, here's my concern. They're talking about collecting evidence. We may be seeing progress here. But you had a crime scene that was closed and then opened and then closed, and our very own reporter was there and was able to see the blood stains, walk right by it. You have an issue of gloves that were found seemingly baking in the heat for quite some time before they were recovered. DNA that was apparently found in the house. When I mentioned Brian earlier, I mean, I thought the initial reports were they found no forensic material in the house, and there was no DNA in the house tying back to the suspect. So even if they were to make an arrest, is this a problematic prosecution? And I know you're not part of the case, but you see my concerns, right?
I do. I don't think it's a coincidence that yesterday, I don't know, Jesse, if you were reporting on it, I assume you were, Brian must have, that there was what looked to be an evidence tent that was constructed at the house.
Yes.
My suspicion was yesterday that they were trying to create, based on the timing at the time of night, they were trying to recreate a scenario, if you will, that had the same ambient light of the time when that video was taken. And why would they do that? They would do that for a number of reasons. Number one, they want to try to isolate the actual colors of the clothing of the various pieces of evidence that they can spy through the video camera that they were able to retrieve. And I also, this is speculation, but I think it makes some sense. If you take a look at that video of the Ring camera or Nest camera, you were looking at, there was a pretty good video shot of the eyes behind the mask.
Yep.
Now, I suspect they've got iris biometrics, and I think somebody was trying to recreate the ambient light so that they could then tune up the video so that it would recreate what it would look like in order to see if they could do some kind of iris biometrics to identify somebody, like when you go to the airport for clear, if you're in DOD and you've got something like that, or even sometimes in some locations at DMV. Now, fast forward a day later, basically, we've heard about this white van, and to the detective's credit, he remembers the Brown man during the Peterson case, but that became a plethora of tips that you have to follow up on. So if they had the tips, they then found something yesterday during this kind of forensic experiment or recreation that they were doing. It doesn't surprise me that today they're following up on that and at least doing another search to see if what they've discovered so far pans out.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
News Nation is the source, everybody. DNA found on the glove inside of Nancy Guthrie's house. As most of you know, the house was shut down about after 2 days of investigation, reopened once the FBI got involved, so things were probably compromised. But hopefully everyone wore gloves when they came back on the scene. Naturally, that is the protocol when you're investigating and doing forensics. Who was the perpetrator and why this 84-year-old woman? What was the point? So many questions, no answers. And as I said, when this person gets arrested, if it's a one-man show, he's not going to tell anything. Will he face the death penalty? Is there a death penalty in Arizona? I'm not sure. Let me check. Interesting. Once again, you are welcome to come on panel and join the Queen and give your opinion. The link is in the chat. We don't know what he did with the body. So you can't get any forensics from the body. Arizona maintains the death penalty, having resumed executions in 2025, following a pause, with lethal injection as the primary method for individuals convicted of first-degree murder. The state has an active death row with roughly 100 inmates and has recently updated protocols to include a specialized medical team to address previous issues with IV insertions. While lethal injection is the primary method, inmates sentenced before November 1992 can choose lethal gas, and there have been discussions regarding the potential introduction of a firing squad. Following a review of execution protocols ordered by Governor Katie Hobbs, the state resumed executions in 2025. In March 2025, the state carried out its first execution in over 2 years. The Attorney General's office has indicated that executions will proceed in compliance with state and federal law, with improvements made to ensure transparency. As of 2025, there are over 100 inmates on death row, predominantly male. So Arizona has the death penalty, and due to the fact that this is an elderly person, I would say it fits the criteria of breaking and entering, kidnapping, and then also possibly homicide. So whoever you are, you're sitting around watching all this unfold on TV, you may get the death penalty, homeboy. I'm going to ask that question as well on my community page. Should this perpetrator receive the death penalty when arrested? We're not going to say if. When arrested, goes to trial, found guilty, should the perpetrator receive the death penalty? I'll put that up right now. Wow. 100 people, men on death row. Once again, DNA found inside of her home belongs to a male. Interesting. Thank God they found it. Where was it found? That's what I'd like to know. Is it just on this glove? And this is even more crazy. You left your glove. So that means you were barehanded unless you had more than one glove on. Some people are speculating that they believe he had on more than one glove. So why would the glove come off? Help the queen understand. Where was the glove found? Entering the house, bedroom, rough handling the victim. Like I said, sexual assault, the glove came off, say, well, I'm woke. This other glove found outside 1.5 miles from her home. Will it match? Because I'm understanding that it does match this other glove, okay? What I read today. Perpetrator may live near Nancy, may have drove the area in an attempt to find a victim. Looking around, it's the perfect setup for a crime anyway because it's dark, because these stupid people out here want to adhere to no lamp posts and no light pollution. Stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. We have to have lights. God invented light, just like he invented darkness. And man created the light bulb. But we need light bulbs so we can see. Hello. But some people in Arizona say, oh, no, we want to stargaze. Maybe that's where Brian Koberger should have been hanging out, since these weirdos out there don't want street lamps to block the night sky, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You all are acting like the lamp posts are the size of skyscrapers. It's nonsense. Pure nonsense. All right, going to my community page, everybody. Take the poll. Should the perpetrator receive the death penalty? You will have three options. Yes, no, and not sure. All right, we're going to go down my community page and read the results from the poll. Thank you for joining me. Once again, the man who sent a text to Annie and Tommaso, he attended court a few days ago, went to federal court. I wonder how much time he's going to get. He claimed he got their phone numbers from the website. Very interesting. Nancy Guthrie suspect, plural, has criminal record, plural, 59% yes, 7% no, 34% not sure. Nancy Guthrie suspect is attracted to older women, 5% yes, 73% no, 23% not sure. 22 people voted. Tell the queen why you don't think the perpetrator is attracted to older women. Break it down. Why not? Hard to fathom. Young person attracted to older women. Also, did she make someone angry? Did she not tip an Uber driver, DoorDash driver? Did she say something smart to somebody who delivered something to her house? Was she angry because they were late? They didn't show up. Took too long to get to her home. Maybe she said something smart to someone and they said, okay, I'll show her. Because people will wow out over the simplest of things. Okay? So had she had contact with a male driver, delivery person, and something did not go well in their interaction, and he was perturbed by Nancy Guthrie in her commentary. Nancy Guthrie profile: suspect lives with mom or aunt. 44% of you said yes, 6% no, 50% not sure. Nancy Guthrie crime has more than one suspect. Wow, 94% of you said yes, 6% of you not sure. The suspect was hired to abduct and or alive Nancy. 52% yes, 14% no, 33% not sure. He was high on drugs, and the reason for the break-in: was the perpetrator inebriated on narcotics, looking for money to buy dope? 7% yes, 64% no, 29% not sure. I asked this question because I was listening to someone on their podcast. It might have been Mr. Killen or somebody, and they were saying, or Mike King, excuse me, and they were saying perhaps the person was inebriated, looked inebriated. That's why he was so calm, because he was on drugs. That would make a lot of sense too. I haven't heard many people say that that's why he was so calm, is because he was doped up. He was doped up, fentanyl, heroin. And we have learned that a lot of people commit crimes when they're doped up and when they're drunk. Had he been drinking, had he been using drugs, had he been using both, then he decided to go out into the night and exact a crime. Because one, he's inebriated. Are we going to find out he has mental problems? Does the perpetrator have a mental problem? Schizophrenia, alternate personality, combination of all of the above. But 7% of you said yes, he was on drugs and broke in to get money for dope. 64% of you said no. Very interesting. Has the perpetrator been inside of her home before the abduction? 56% yes, 28% no, 17% not sure. And I'd like to thank Miss Pat Brown. She feels like some of you are making a spectacle out of this case, and you're turning it into a reality TV show. And as most of you know, this certain dingbat keeps contacting TMZ with this back and forth. I'm not going to call you anymore. I'm not going to contact you. Next thing you know, we hear Harvey telling us he's notified them of another tip. I would like to tell Harvey, you are part of the problem as well, because you're aiding this foolishness with this dodo bird. Please stop. Just please stop. Now, as I told you all from a 2020 post on a neighborhood app, Nancy put up a post saying, I'm thinking about buying Ring or Nest security doorbell camera. Any suggestions? Which has the best camera? She posted this November 25, 2021, noting that she was interested in seeing animal activity at night. Okay, that was 2021. But in 2020, she had posted male thieves. I need to change that. 2021. I put 20. What I meant to say is in 2020, she posted someone stole packages off her porch, stole a package. But what I find interesting, she said male thieves on that neighborhood app. And so you figure 20, somebody's stealing your packages, and she says male. How does she know it's a male if she didn't have cameras to see who it was? Then you go to 2021, almost the end of the year, she's inquiring on the same app, do you all have suggestions for cameras? So it looks to me that Mrs. Guthrie was taking a lot for granted. Because as they say about these type of people, that some people go in stages. This is why it's a great thing to take people's DNA when they are arrested, because some people elevate in crimes, and perhaps this person has elevated. Maybe it's petty thievery, then it's stealing cars, breaking in cars. Now we're breaking in homes. Now we're taking whole bodies out of homes. Checkmate. Is this person in the database? This may be the reason why they took Nancy out. They know they fucked up. They left behind something inside of the house. So if they're in the database, CODIS, I gotta take her out of here. I left the glove. Then they threw out a glove, let's say. So this person is not too savvy and they're sloppy. I gotta take this victim out of here because they left behind DNA in the house, on the body, in the body. Checkmate. And as I said before, people escalate in their crimes. This is what happens with a peeping Tom. How long can you look through the window? As I always call it, the looking glass. How long can a person look through the looking glass? It's no different than looking at QVC, looking on Amazon, Walmart, Temu. How long are you going to keep looking, scrolling before you decide you want to order coffee maker, dress, shirt, pants, shoe? Go to the store, stand outside the window, look at the mannequin, like the coat, like the dress. How many times you're going to stand out there before you decide to go in? And look at the coat, touch the coat, try the coat on. Peeping Tom, same game. Peeping, stalking, watching. I got to go in. I got to go in and make contact with the victim. And you see this a lot with true crime. Escalation of crimes, mental illness, inebriation, drug addiction. Sometimes they work in teams. That's your answer. Who is this person? Did they have a partner? What was the motive for going inside of Nancy's home? Had they been to her home, inside her home, contacted her previously before the abduction? Is she alive? It is obvious the person assaulted her inside of her home, and this is why no one should even believe that this is a ransom, because they would have made a ransom day one. And you can't trust anyone who will put their hands on an elderly person and take them out, whether it's a ransom or not. You have violated this woman. She's missing and possibly deceased. So you can't believe anything that comes out of the mouth of this said perpetrator. Let's hear from Miss Pat, because I think some of you need to hear what she has to say about some of you who are turning this into a reality TV show, following the police, FBI around, cameras watching 24/7 out there in Tucson, not getting any proper sleep because you want to bring the latest information to YouTube and TikTok and Facebook. And she's directing this to a certain person here on YouTube. Same person that has sued at least 3,000 people in frivolous lawsuits. But you all like following his content. Crazy, crazy. This is Pat Brown, everybody. Profiling with Pat Brown. This is her commentary. Feel free to go to her community page.
And I'm here to say something somebody needs to say. So it's going to be me. Stop the Nancy Guthrie reality show. It's becoming despicable. Enough is enough. I know it's a popular case. It's very interesting. You don't know what happened to Nancy Guthrie. There's some guy out there or people out there who've abducted her. There's the ransom notes. All this stuff is very interesting. However, this is not a reality show, and you should not be thinking of it as a reality show, something you're involved in, something you're getting excited about every moment of the day, something that you have to watch and have to do something about. Because this is what this kind of character here, an independent journalist or investigator, and not only him, but there's other ones just like him who people are following because they're doing live stuff. They've flown to Arizona, they're hanging out in the area, they're talking to people, they're walking through yards, they're filming the police, they're on every single thing that is happening and reporting it because they think you need to know. Guess what? None of you need to know. You don't, unless you're the family, unless you live right in that community. You don't need to know. You have no right.
Just like what he and a certain other female did down in Florida with the Gabby Petito case, you were wearing your welcome out with bullhorns and screaming and hollering at family members pertaining to Gabby Petito, the boyfriend's family, his sister. She's stupid enough to open the door and be interrogated by people who aren't even law enforcement, who are YouTubers. You don't owe anybody an explanation about what your brother or sister did. The only people you should be talking to is law enforcement. You do not have to open your door. You do not have to answer through social media apps. Block them. And that's what that sister should have done. Hey, get off my property. If you don't get off my property, I will call the police. And you know, Florida's a stand your ground state. They'll let you kill people on site down there. They don't even have to be in your house or on your porch. Some of you YouTubers are getting just ridiculous. You're beating a dead horse. Just go on and on and on. Flying out to these places and running around, reporting stuff that's not true, not accurate. It's the same YouTubers. This is what's interesting to me. It's always the same ones that like to sell fluff, and people keep flocking to their channel, flocking in their chat, running back repeating what they did, running back repeating in other people's chats and under news videos. Did you hear what he did? Did you hear what she did? Did you hear who they talked to? No. Didn't hear, not interested. Because to me, they're no different than TMZ. I said that.
Right to know what the police are doing every minute of the day. As a matter of fact, it's called interfering with the case. This character. I think he should be arrested at some point for that. Because he's doxing people, he's giving out information he shouldn't be giving out. The police are trying to do their job. And all this crap that's going onto the internet, onto X, onto Facebook, onto TikTok, everywhere. So people everywhere, even professionals are doing this. They're going on Facebook and giving information constantly and riling up people. They're even going on talk shows, on major media, and they're saying, we gotta solve this case. You all don't have to solve this case unless you know the guy that did it. Because you all aren't even in the neighborhood. You all are not professionals. You all are people who are interested but have no business interfering with the case and flooding the sheriff's office with massive amount of useless tips because you decided you analyzed the case and you know that so-and-so did it. So-and-so's involved. Because you see, oh my God, the police went to that person's house and therefore they must be the one who's committed this crime. Maybe the police just went there to talk to people because maybe they're family members and they're trying to discuss things with them. Hey, how about that? So you're overblowing everything out of proportion the public is. And they're being pushed by this kind of character, by so many people on the internet, not just for educational purposes where they're going to give a little show and talk about something, but just blowing it all out of proportion to the point of it's absolutely disgusting. It needs to stop. It does. This is not your case. You are not the police. Let them do their job. Stop telling them, we need a press conference. We have the right to know. You don't. It's none of your business unless you're the family or right there in the community. And it definitely, even if you're the family or in the community, it still isn't your business to know everything the police are doing. That's why investigations are not supposed to be public. I don't know why nobody understands this. They have to do their job. They have to pay attention to the legal issues. They have to pay attention to making sure they keep everybody safe. They have to make sure they don't arrest the wrong person, that they have probable cause. All of these things are a requirement for the police to do. And you on the outside have no idea what's going on. need to stand down. All of the public needs to stand down, stay off of all of the, just stop overdoing everything and thinking you have some right to be involved in this case. You don't. If you want to understand the case and want to listen to some rational people just to explain a few things about the case, that's fine. And yes, there is, generally speaking, we want to know the basic news. But we don't need to know 24/7 what the police are doing, or we don't need to be interfering with the case by getting out there and just basically just getting the public to become ballistic over this. And I mean the public, not by the public in the community, I mean the public across 50 states, and some people from outside the country, as if this is some case they have to be knowledgeable about or involved in. You don't. You got, whatever town you're living in, you got murdered people in your town, missing people in your town, children who need to be helped, elderly who need to be helped. Do something in your own damn town. Stop sitting there on the internet following this kind of crap and harassing the police and trashing them constantly. I see nothing but the sheriff's department trashed over and over and over again. Now, you may not think that, I don't care whether you think they're doing the best job in the world. You don't know. You don't know. So leave them alone to do the job. Can you imagine being the police and having to deal with this garbage from the public, this constant harassment? It is unnecessary. It is ungrateful for the work that they're doing. And just because you haven't solved the case as fast as you think it should be solved doesn't mean they're not doing a good job. Because you have no idea what they're doing. And making a big fat drama out of this but on the internet is unacceptable. And we've gone this way with so many cases. More and more cases are becoming like this.
Yeah.
Over and over, we're starting to see a case that should be local or should be discussed in just a small and rational way becoming a reality show. And it is messing up these cases. It's not helping. So for all the professionals too who get out there on the television saying, everybody's going to help solve this case. No, we're not. The people who are going to solve the case are the police and people who might actually know something. So stop, please. Just everybody stop. Stand down. Enough is enough. Those are my thoughts. I will end by saying, I've been to the channel before, subscribe to the channel so you can see some more rants. Now, hopefully, I can be talking about other cases. I try to do that.
I'm going to stop right there. Profile Pat Brown. That is the commentary. Please feel free to go to her network. Pat is telling the truth because you can get wrapped up in the he said and the she said and the wildness of it all, the hee-haw, and it's just a road I really don't like going down. This is why I don't like repeating everything that other people say, what they heard. And now you see that even with law enforcement, you can't even repeat what they're saying, because I prefer to only get it from the news, because that's where they're getting it from, is law enforcement. But now we're having to basically retract what we put in videos, because the sheriff will say one thing, then he wants to retract it. So it's like, well, then what is the truth to any of this? And if it's going to be like this, then don't speak on something that you have to retract or you regret saying. You don't want to tell us who called Nancy's family to say she didn't go to the church meeting at the friend's house. We just learned that. It wasn't a church. It was a church at a friend's house to watch a stream out of New York. See, extra. And you let all this come out after people start assuming stuff from the first information you gave. This is why maybe you all shouldn't be speaking on things. And like somebody said last night, the FBI, they're not here to coddle us. They're here to investigate. They don't have time for press conferences and jumping in front of the camera and retracting information. They're not into reality TV and soap operas. They're on the ground to get information pertaining to the disappearance of this lady. They're not here to entertain us. And as Pat Brown is saying, other people, such as the person she's mentioning in her video, I'm not saying her name on my YouTube channel, you can figure out who she's talking about. This person's been on YouTube for God knows how long, and that's all he does. It's just glamorize and just fluff everything. And another YouTuber, he does the same thing. Always putting out stuff, making people lose their mind, think something's going on, making people think somebody's dead, this and that, and the person, we don't even know who you're talking about. Then he says, oh, well, no, it wasn't that, I made a mistake, or I was talking about something else, or it's just nonsense. Oh, yeah, I thought that was Sebastian walking across the street. Oh, he looks just like him. It's always the same YouTubers that do this. Every fucking time there is a missing person, missing kid, they have to do the most. This is why I don't want to partake in any of that nonsense, bickering, arguing with people. It's pointless. Because in the end, none of us know what happened to the person. We can assume who we think did it, got them gone, unalive them, but we don't have solid proof. And when you're turning the disappearance of a child, person, or a homicide into a reality TV show such as TMZ, that's what TMZ is doing with this Nancy Guthrie case. Turning it into a soap opera. Because haven't you noticed? A soap opera, you turn it on 5 days a week to get the latest information of what John, Pookie, Ray Ray, Bubba, Susie May did. And then you have to wait until Monday to see what they did on Monday. That's what TMZ is doing. Every day it's something. Well, I got another letter. I got another letter. He said this, and I can't tell you this. It's just like a soap opera. Stay tuned. 1 hour, you watch the soap opera, and now you got to wait until Tuesday to see what Susie, May, and John did. And then when Tuesday comes, it's something else. You got to wait until Wednesday. That's all TMZ is doing. Just a damn soap opera, and it's disgusting. Because I think most of us know this woman is more than likely not alive. This person is not a professional. He's an amateur. The only thing he did is that he's evaded police because he hasn't been arrested. That's about it. He's gotten away with it. But I think we know he's not a professional because he goes to a victim's home with a backpack full. I don't know what the hell was in there. I said, hell, maybe even in somebody else's house, steal it. Robbing them. They don't hurt anybody since they're thinking, oh, he's got a tarp in there, he's got this and that in there. How do you know he ain't got something stolen from somebody else's house? Because if he's stupid enough to leave a glove in her house and a glove down the street, he's stupid enough to throw his clothes out too. Covering the damn camera with bushes, flower bushes. That's not professional. You might as well went to the camera without a mask on. You stupid enough to leave a damn glove, leave your DNA. That's not professional. That's not professional. He has been fortunate enough to get away from Nancy's home. And you know why? Because ding, 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 ain't no street lights. She didn't have cameras in the front, such as hanging off a tree limb. She could have had a camera in the light post. Now, allegedly, there's a camera on the building. Hopefully, that camera will show a car parked on the property because it's common sense. He brought a car. And I think some of you don't think when you speak. Oh, did he ride a bicycle? Think about what the fuck you're saying. How the hell would he get her out on a bicycle? Oh, yes, he's driving around a dead woman on a bicycle in the desert. Come on now. Think. He drove a car. So this shows you how brazen he is to where he, yes, as they're saying, felt comfortable enough to, one, just go to this house, masked up or not, commit a crime, take her out. He had to put her in a car. You know damn well he didn't walk her off the property. He didn't carry her off on a wagon, a bicycle, a pony. He took her in a car. And the fact that he didn't even think, okay, she may have a camera on the building or somewhere else that could catch the identification of my car. Duh. I won't doubt they do have surveillance of his car. So whether he took her out the back door, carried her out the front door, garage, whatsoever, I'm hoping there is video surveillance of the car and him carrying her out. because we also hear there's a camera on that building in the back, which would be, I'm assuming, the pool house or guest house. He's not that smart. So my message to all of you, if you have the funds, please get you security cameras and get them where they can't be yanked off the front door. Get them elevated. Put the cameras also in the inside, high up in the corner where a person can't get to them unless they go get a ladder and step up there and spray paint it. Make sure you have an alarm. As I was talking to someone the other day, she says, oh, I got a camera inside. I'll see you coming in. Yes, but that won't mean anything if you're asleep. Why isn't anyone understanding that about these damn cameras? If you are gone, you want your house ransacked and a description without mask on, but that's all the fuck you're gonna have. It's inside. You want an alarm on your house, on the doors, on the windows, sensors, motion lights. So that way they stop in their tracks at the front door, back door, window. The object of the alarm is for the perpetrator not to come in. What's the point once they're in there and they've ransacked your house, stolen your goods? You want to stop them in their tracks before they even push a door open, push a window open. And then saying, oh, well, I've got the camera inside. When this lady told me this the other day, I just looked at her like, what? Well, what if you're asleep and he's in the house? What difference does it matter about the fucking camera being on the inside and you're asleep? Oh my God. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm done. Nobody's thinking out here. And obviously, Mrs. Guthrie was not thinking. Her children weren't thinking. Mom lives alone. She needs an alarm. What were you all thinking? Nobody would hurt her? Oh, she's a nice old lady. Nobody would hurt her. She don't bother nobody. I hear this all the time from people. I don't bother nobody. I stay to myself. Well, you're the perfect person to be a victim, because you've already put it in your mind that nobody will do anything to you because there's no such thing. Look at that girl that just got shot in her car in a drive-thru out there in Missouri. She was a Olympic skater, coach, contender. Well, she's now dead. Some black guy decides to come up to her car and tell her to raise her hands, and he shoots her, steals her belongings, and runs off. He has an Olympic criminal record dating back to 86, 87. She's minding her business, trying to get something to eat in a drive-thru. So now I have to ask, was her door unlocked? Because I didn't hear he shot her through the glass and he pulled her door open and shot her. Lord have mercy. No one is exempt from being a victim, okay? You can be hurt anywhere at any time, on your job, at school, going and coming to work, going and coming to the gym, shopping, in your house, outside of your house, checking the mail, it doesn't matter. Hello, Gemini. You got to get that out your head. Nobody would do anything to me. I'm invincible. I don't bother anybody. I don't say nothing. It don't matter. Because we don't even know what this mess is about pertaining to Nancy Guthrie. Why she's missing, why she was assaulted. And I'm still banking something happened in that house. Everybody's counting the time he went and messed with the cameras until her pacemaker stopped. So that's where the 41 minutes is coming from. It's no telling what he was doing in her house. But like I told you, the fact that now we know that he dropped the glove inside, he probably was doing things to her that was nasty. I'm woke. I'm all day woke. Because we don't even know what he stole. Is her jewelry missing? Checkbooks missing, credit cards. For all we know, he could take the credit cards and give them to somebody else who'll be bold enough to go use them. Stay woke. Give me the PIN number. Give me the PIN number. I need the PIN. I need the code. I won't kill you if you give me the code to pen. See, you don't even know what was said to the lady. Probably hit her in the face and the mouth because she ain't complying. Lord have mercy. I have to tell you, I talked to Spirit, and Nancy said there was false evidence in the backpack he planted. Well, hit the link, Gemini. Scroll up to hit the link. Just scroll up through the chat. There's a link that starts with HTTPS. You can hit it. Come on the panel. You don't have to show yourself. It's too much for me. It's depressing. Just depressing. That's why I didn't even want to make a live if they detain anybody. You know, because it's like you're just wasting time. Oh, they detain somebody. Oh, they let them go. So, you know, I only want to come on when it's something breaking pertaining to the case. Gemini, hit the link in the chat if you want to come up to explain what you're trying to tell us. Well, I guess she's not going to hit the link. Well, hold on a minute. You need to hit the link, sweetheart. The link is in the chat. Do I need to put it back in there? Because what you're saying sounds very weird. Who's going to do all that? And why take her out if it's fake? Make it make sense now. She said false penile fluid from the backpack dude planted evidence. I don't know if I believe that. Gemini, hit the link in the chat. HTTPS, hit that link. It will guide you up to give your opinion. Because we don't understand what you're saying. Anybody want to come up before I check out of here to give their opinion pertaining to male DNA found in Nancy's home? It is not believed to be related to anyone that's known to her, such as family members. How many people have they asked DNA? How many people have complied? She says, I'm trying. It shouldn't be hard because I put everything in there correctly. Well, you have to hit the link. It should bring you up. Because I know I'm not typing it in wrong. Yeah. PNMV 9AY 2N5. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Do you have a computer or iPad that you can hit the link from? You can do it on your phone, you can do it on an iPad, you can do it on a computer. It's okay, because all you have to do is, it should show up. https://streamyard.com/PNMV9AY2N5. Because I just double checked to make sure I typed it in correctly. You can still hit the link, sweetheart, on your phone. Just hit the link on your phone while you're in the chat watching this live stream. Just hit the link where it says HTTPS. Just hit that link. It should guide you up. It should bring you to the StreamYard if you hit the link on your phone. I don't know why you're having difficulties. Anybody else want to hit the link? That way we know it's working. Gigi, you out there listening? Bonnie, hit the link so I know that it's working. Because she's obviously having problems. It's not connecting. It says StreamYard. Well, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's your Wi-Fi connection or something. That's okay, sweetheart. Yeah. Anybody else listening to this live stream, hit the link and come up so we'll know that it's working. If there's anybody else watching the live, hit the StreamYard so we'll know that it's working. It should be working. Yeah, just go out your phone, period. Just go out your phone, out the chat, come back in, and just hit the link itself. If there's anybody listening to this live that wants to give his or her commentary, hit the link to give your opinion. I just want to make sure that it's working properly. I don't know why it's not, because I don't see any numbers up here to show me that anybody's waiting. It's not showing me anybody. New DNA on the glove, DNA in her house. Don't know where else there's DNA, bedroom, kitchen, living room. Oh, and your home Wi-Fi, okay, yeah. Because the only way you're gonna be able to come up is if you're using a phone, Android, iPhone, or an iPad computer to hit the link. Because if the StreamYard is coming up, that means you're doing something halfway right for the StreamYard to show up. Where's Gigi and where's Bonnie? I cannot believe my fans, my favorite fans won't hit the link to come up and give their opinion. Where are you ladies at? Y'all leaving Queen up here by herself today. Hot darn it. I think an arrest should be coming soon, hopefully. So the shenanigans can end. They can move on to another case. Hijack it. Oh, it's dark outside. Wet and dark. Dark and wet. I hate this noise in this air conditioning. It's annoying. All right, everybody, we're waiting for her to come up if she's able to come up. I'm already 1 hour and 25 minutes into this live stream. "67% of you says the perpetrator should receive the death penalty. 17% no, 17% not sure. 6 people voted. Okay. Still waiting for somebody to hit that link. This young lady says she's trying to tell us. Gemini, are you a medium or a psychic? And where would this person be getting sperm from? Sounds very wild to me. ABC Live is the next source.
Nancy Guthrie, sources brief of the investigation tell ABC News that investigators lifted the DNA of an unknown male profile from a glove found along roadside brush about 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home. The gloves appearing to genetically match the kind worn by the suspect.
Okay, so now they're saying that glove has DNA.
Sent the gloves to a private lab in Florida. The FBI is waiting for results of quality control tests before putting the male profile into the FBI's national DNA database. Guthrie was last seen the night of January 31st when her family dropped her off at home after a game night. Joining me now for more is ABC News' Alex Stone with the link from Tucson, Arizona, along with ABC News contributor and former NYPD chief of detectives, Robert Boyce. Alex, I'll start with you. A potential big break in this case with authorities confirming a DNA match with that glove found along the side of the road. What more do we know at this hour?
See, Andrew, it could be if it does pan out. They don't know. They tell us 16 gloves have been found around the area in the county. As they have been searching around, most of those have been gloves that belong to either city rescue team members or detectives, but there is this one glove that is generically very similar to what we've seen in the doorbell video camera, but they don't know. They're going to put the DNA results that they got into what's called CODIS, a national FBI database, to see if they get any hit off of it. But it could just be roadside debris as well. They don't know what it is yet. They're hoping that it's something, but it may be nothing. Robert, let's get to you. Now that authorities have a DNA match of some kind, the kind of glove worn by the suspect caught on Guthrie's doorbell camera. What's the next step in this search? Walk us through the whole process of eliminating people or even considering people as suspects.
Andrew, it's a lead right now. That's all it is. We'll see how it goes from here. So to understand that it takes a while to develop a profile and then put it in the coders. That's why I kind of question why I went to Florida, but we'll work within that framework. And it is simple. We don't know where it's going to take us. There's also DNA from the house itself. We don't know where we should cover now. We have shows that what's there. You want to compare that to it. And right now, it's just the way it is. There's a roadside out there. And you should look at it so much. But we'll see where it goes. And then put it in the coders. But more importantly, next has its own database for DNA. That should be compared as well.
And Robert, investigators are now shifting their focus away from Guthrie family members, as well as away from the man who was stopped in a car in Rio Rico, the individual was told to search on Friday. Does that tell you anything about any potential profiles they may be developing here?
I think it's a good one. It's 20,000 tips on it. And those are things they have been collated in the catalog and then put out. They could use it to do that.
that this love goes somewhere and may or may not. They want to put that in the DNA database and see if they get it in. Does it come back to somebody? Does it match any of that unknown DNA that was found here on the scene that they've been trying to figure out who that goes to? A lot of work that they want to do. And the sheriff telling us that it is going to be slow, it is going to be methodical. They may not get answers very soon. As you reported a moment ago, Andrew, our sources telling us they're moving away from any relatives. Who were those two people who were detained in the last week, the two men? They don't believe that they had anything to do with it. Now the sheriff telling us nobody has been ruled out as a person of interest, but they are moving away from the two who were detained and any family members. They're trying to figure out who it was. They're not there yet. Alex, Robert, thank you both.
All right, ABC Live, everybody. So now it's, oh Lord, DNA on the, male DNA on the blood found. Honey, use somebody else's phone. Can you use somebody else's phone? Do you have a child, husband, boyfriend? Use their phone and see if it can come up. My first blind read, I said son-in-law without knowing who she was. Swear I have few friends with channels. I don't got one because gifts are free. Oh, you're alone? Okay. So you don't have an iPad or a computer to hit the link? That's why I was wanting somebody else to try to hit the link so I know that it's working. Because I can't tell if it's working or not if nobody hits the link. Spirit box. I help decipher. On the iPad. Is there anybody else in the chat that can hit the link so I'll know that it's working? It should be working. Nancy said the backpack held fake evidence. There was fibers, DNA, and penile fluid. Well, who did she say that it belonged to? This is very strange what you're saying. Why would somebody be carrying around somebody else's DNA and penile fluid, hit the lady, and then take her from her house? That don't make any sense what you're saying. That's a lot of trouble to go through because you're still committing a crime. Let's say he's taking fake DNA to plant. Okay, but why are you hitting her? Why are you removing her from her house? Why is she missing? And this woman is possibly dead. This is a lot of a setup. And who are they setting up? Did Nancy tell you who they're setting up? Can't believe I'm reading this. So Nancy didn't tell you who and why. She ain't telling you who the person is, why he's setting this person up, who the person is he's setting up. Make it make sense now. Setting up Tom and Annie. Why? How can you get a man's semen? That's too far-fetched. There's no way a man can get another man's semen. No way. No way, Jose. So you're saying Tom and Annie planned this? They got some man's semen. Is that what you're saying? I'm confused. I don't know if they got it, but they did, and Annie could. Oh, Annie could. Oh, you mean be with a man and get his semen to set him up to get rid of her mother. So you're basically saying it's Tommaso and Annie, who allegedly got a man's DNA. Okay, then who's the man in the house that took her? So what are you saying? They paid this guy to go in there? This don't make no sense. They went because basically what are you saying? They planned it and they got this guy who don't got nothing to do with the crime to go plant their stuff, plant this other man's peanut semen. This don't make no sense, girl. Well, that's why you need to try to hit the link. I don't know any way to do it because I don't. My app is acting up on the other iPad from the Instagram. I don't think I can get it to work because it's making me go through hell and back for some reason. And I can't put any other personal information in the chat because I don't need nobody stalking me. We ain't got to do that. Oh. Not working. It's working on the app on the device. Wait, it got cold. Oh. Let me check that out. Are you on Instagram? Oh, Lord, here we go. This Epstein stuff. Why do you all keep talking about this Epstein stuff? She is not the only person on the news that reports breaking news. There are other people on the Today Show, CBS, CNN. Come on, you guys. Epstein is dead. And it's up to the government to decide what they want to release, don't release, who names they want to release. What would that have to do with Savannah? Nothing. She reads a script. She reads a script by producers. So it doesn't matter what somebody has done in America, abroad. They read scripts for the news. They don't pick the news to reveal anything. Because Harvey is feeding this whole child and still going strong with Epstein. I don't know anything about it. So now Harvey's a part of it. So what are you trying to say? Harvey is involved in this. So what he hired somebody to take her mother. like people were saying, she doesn't even speak. She's not controversial. So I don't know where you're getting all this information. This is getting a little too far fetched from fake semen and all that. I don't know which one I guess. Well, everybody, I'm going to check out of here, but I thank you all for joining me. When I get an update pertaining to this information, I will come back with any updates pertaining to Nancy Guthrie. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments on this video. Follow me on the News Breakout. I'm also on the News Breakout under the same name. I don't go live over there because we don't have a live option, but my content is shared over there as well. There are posts and videos of the same sort as here on YouTube. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $, Angie 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. You have been listening to us all that.